shed blood, sweat, and tears, and I made my rounds. I'm badass, ooh, there's no stopping me. Get out of my way, I'm like a runaway train flying at a supersonic speed. I got what you want, I got what you need, Welcome to the show, get ready for the major leagues. Alright, all my life I said I'm gonna be one of the greats. Now I'm finally here. Nothing about this fake. Oh, it's the real thing. Oh, it's the real thing. Yeah. All my life I said it. I'm gonna be one of the greats. Oh, it's the real thing. Got the heart of a lion, strong as iron, with a fire burning in my soul. There's a chip on my shoulder that looked like a mountain from every time someone said no. Never say yes. $1 million swag, don't forget that.
What's up, everybody? Drew Casascio, people call me Cappuccino. Welcome to the pilot episode of The Art of Leveling Up. Today, we are sitting here with the DCCS insurance team. This show is brought to you by Dynamic Conversion Consulting Services, DCCS, single point of communication for multiple resources. Today, we're going to talk about how to protect your assets. And with the team here, you can't get any better than the team that we have here. And so we're going to kind of break this up a little bit. To my left, we have a CJ Frank and Wally Gerba. To my right, Stephen Golimbieski. Did I do it right?
Pretty close.
Yes.
That's
Pretty
tough.
close.
Awesome.
There we go.
That's tough.
I totally did it correctly.
That's tough.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. I'm getting it done. I've only known him for years.
Yeah.
Hey,
you. That's what I was saying. Hey, you.
how do you define how to protect yourself when you want to level up? And number one, when you deal with professional lifting your business professionally, the best thing to do is lift yourself personally, because everything is about life. Your business is part of your life. Your life shouldn't be part of your business. It's just, you know what I mean? Have you ever had that, CJ?
Yeah, 100%.
Where you're like, man, my business is growing, but I have no life.
Well, Drew, I have a good actual story about this.
Yeah.
The art of leveling up, as we talk about. So I have clients who all the time are, converting from a life of renting a place, renting a home, renting things like that. And they're leveling up, right? They're looking at a new home. They finally made their wages high enough to afford a new home, put a down payment, make those adjustments in their life. But then when they come to leveling up, right, it comes homeowners insurance. Now there's 2 auto drivers on an auto policy instead of just them on their own cheap half-rate auto policy. They now need to have enough protection for them and their potential family to come, or if they already have a family.
Sure.
So when they get that bill that changes from one thing to another, they need to now start leveling up. And to level up, you need to be introduced to gentlemen like us who protect people like that, who don't know the next level to go to. That's why we step in. We know exactly where you need to be and exactly where you need to go. Sure. With anything, supplemental insurance, annuity, supplemental insurance as well, medical insurance, home and auto insurance, life insurance, all those things we can all cover here. So, as we get into that and people will hear, what we can do and how we specialize in that. Mm-hmm. But that's what we do. And that's why we're here. That's why Drew put us together.
Right.
And
just to kind of parlay the story, when you go from renting to home, again, it's those million little things. You got to buy a mower. You got to make sure the trees, you got to make sure the appliances are well. So it's very overwhelming to have people like us just to bounce ideas by us, just to make sure what are those million little things and how do you get organized?
Yeah, 100%.
Well, and too, so everybody knows now that we're talking about insurance, it's going to be the most energetic insurance conversation ever.
When have you not had one?
Right?
When have you not had one?
Your seats,
right.
boys
Get crazy.
Girls,
right.
Your
Buckle up, everybody.
Crazy.
No, but it is. Think about how insurance it is, because the art of leveling up is also the art of understanding what you could lose in that levels.
That's right.
Right?
100%.
You go from renting, you ain't losing nothing if the building catches fire. If you have a good renter, if your house burns, you're going to lose a whole lot. Time, effort, meaningful things, memories, what have you.
Sure.
You want to make sure everything can get paid like conditions, same thing, and everybody's back whole.
So let's talk about that a little bit. And then we're definitely going to get to you and how you two work together on stacking insurance.
Sure.
But so people, the most calls that you get through our business lines are going to be, I need the basic insurance. I just need, it's got to be affordable. And so this investment, you're investing in your property, and trying to do a cost analysis for your household. Let's start with the household.
Yeah.
Doing a cost analysis for your household, you're like, oh, I need to be within this budget line. But when bad things happen,
that budget line gets thrown out.
Correct. Correct.
So there's got to be an understandable line of what you're budgeting and what you're, there's give and take, right? Yeah. So people who drive, I'll just use BMWs, Audis, whatever you have, and there's Kias. There's a difference in here, and there's a difference in, price, everything along with that, and you pay for what you get. It's the same with home insurance, the same with auto insurance. The better, not necessarily the more you're paying, necessarily do you get, but you're going to get a better, product from it. You're going to get your car replaced in less time. You're going to get, let's say damage to other vehicles. You're going to have them feel more satisfied so that they're not, willing to do a lawsuit against you. Sure. So it just, those processes leave you from more or less loss. You know what I mean? All those are, could be substantial losses if somebody comes after you. A kid breaks an arm on your property, on your trampoline, and you only have minimal coverage, but you live in a 5,000 square foot house. But yet you wanted to save so much money on your insurance. Now you're going to have a lawsuit to pay for that kid's medical insurance because you wanted you wanted nothing. And his medical bill was over your $100,000 of medical liability, Sure. So we got to think about those things. If we got enough money to kick in, we kick it in now so that we don't have to lose it later. Sure. Right. It's the small steps that get you the big steps later. Yeah.
So, and people always assume, and maybe it's this way in your field or my field, nothing bad's ever going to happen to them. They always assume, no, that can't happen to me. That won't happen to me. And it's just that mentality of how do you talk to somebody and just kind of explain to them, what if? What if this could happen?
Yeah, the what ifs are hard to talk about.
Well, and too, I mean, everybody at this table, we're not salesmen. We're business relationship builders,
educators,
and consultants. We like to build relationships with our clients so they get that warm and fuzzy. I mean, we have clients that are like part of our family at this point because they've known us for so long, so they trust us. Yeah. Folks, it's kind of like this. Everybody serves the same shit sandwich. Who do you want handing you that shit sandwich, right? Yeah. Nobody wants to spend money on premiums. Nobody wants to. Everybody's got this budget. It ties into your vacation fund. It ties into. We understand life happens, but as CJ is saying, listen. You go from renters, you go to homeowners. Whoa, that's a bigger price, isn't it? Yeah, I learned that out. Not you
did. Right. The example. Right. I didn't want to bring it up.
But no, that's okay. But I was like, what? I break a window, CJ? Jesus. So now that costs more money. But ask CJ, hey, let's look at my auto again. How does that bundle? What are the benefits being with you guys? And there's several benefits. I even think that being a loyal customer, we have different packages that go with different vendors. We're a business resource company, right? So, on top of that, what else do we provide as far as the benefits?
With your exact example, you were like, CJ, come on, let's work together. Let's work as a team like we've been doing. How do I get this down? And then I went into looking at payment options. Mm-hmm. Okay, if we don't pay it through mortgagee company and we pay it in full, right now it saves you $300. Yeah. And he was like, I want to do that, because long term it saves them you know what I mean? Right. And that's the route we generally went when we were going to just, have it monthly but it saved Sure. There's different ways. Once you talk to somebody who wants to communicate with you, who wants to earn your business, instead of just a number, literally policy number, tell me your name. That's what we ask for. We don't ask for your policy number, like 1-800 number. Hey, yep. Okay. Bye. Sure. I'll email you the info, it's like, hey, what's going on, Jake? What happened? Where were you at this weekend? Don't you enjoy golf the last time you remembered? Yeah, I'm golfing today. Oh, good for you. I like those conversations. Yeah. Meaningful, like he was saying, meaningful interactions.
And, people are spending a decent amount of money on this stuff. So not understanding what you're spending money on, I don't get it. And with a lot of insurance, there's a lot of these little things that people can use to really help them that they just don't understand. Right. So having that personal connection that you can call is huge.
Well, even what you guys do with the supplemental insurance, that's huge. You know what I mean? Yeah. We should talk about that because a lot of people don't even understand
Well,
what happens with that or how that works.
Well,
they're just like, no, my work's got it.
Right. I already have insurance.
We're good,
I already got it.
guys.
I'm good.
Well, you're not going to work there forever. Let's figure out what's going to happen in the meantime. What happens if,
Sure.
you can touch
well,
on that better than I
and
can.
before we do that, real quick, and everybody at this table, this is one of the best things that I say is part of the product that we do, is I'll place a call to Wally, Steven, or CJ at midnight, and they'll answer their phone.
Yeah.
They are all about taking care of you. Listen, as we go, if there's any information that anybody out there needs, info@GoDCCS, that's info@GoDCCS.com. Check out our website, GoDCCS.com. Feel free to email us based on any of the insurance products that we have here today. And if you're looking to have a conversation with any of the gentlemen at the table, awesome. Hey, listen, so now we're talking about health insurance. Wally Gerba, who is the wise wizard here at the table. So when it comes to health insurance, he's always been the go-to. This man has helped many, many people. And when I say helped, there's times where he hasn't even profited financially. So with him, it's not about all the money. It's about how do I help you?
Lead with how long have you been doing this, Wally?
Yeah.
About 20 years now.
Right there, it says it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my attitude has always been, as I mentioned, about being a consultant. I help people balance what their risks are with what their benefits and budget dollars are, so that they can realize the coverage that they need, because we buy insurance to pay for the things that we can't afford to pay for on our own, or don't want to pay for on our own, even if we have the money.
Yep.
And this way, they realize that they're getting someone who's shopping and working for them.
Yeah.
I'm not working for one particular insurance company, and many times put together a package between myself and Steven or CJ, depending upon what insurance products we're talking about, that will benefit them overall at a much lower price than if they just went out by themselves and tried to buy it direct.
That's awesome. And then, so basically what can happen, and we'll go from the personal to the business lines, but, basically it's, hey, listen, I'm not going to the marketplace. I'm looking for insurance. What are my best bets? Wally opens up his Bible of insurance stuff and says, let's figure out the best route for you. And, when I first met Wally, he was my broker. To start with, before we even connected to do this together. And I said, so what are my best? He's like, well, listen, if you're on a budget, this is what I could do. I could put you with ABC Insurance Company. And what we'll do is we'll line it up, and then we'll stack a supplemental on top of it for an accidental. Because 90% of the time you go to the emergency room is based on a accident.
Yeah,
right?
I was going to say.
Right. And I said, well, if I end up with a severe flu, could I just say I fell and got the flu? I don't know if that
I
would
slipped
really work.
into the flu.
Right. I fell on the flu 13 times.
Yeah.
Well, everyone knows with any insurance, most insurance anyway, there comes a deductible, which is the portion that you're responsible to pay before the insurance company usually pays anything.
In and out of pocket.
But it also makes the premium a lot less. So a lot of times I put people in a higher deductible plan, but with Steven's help, we can put them into an accident plan. So now you don't pay that deductible for an accident, which is the most common way that people will file a large claim. You would have to only pay that for a serious illness. But wait a minute, you get a serious illness like a critical illness. We have critical illness insurance that can also lower that deductible to zero. So you're really reducing your risk of having to pay out financially a large amount of money, even towards that maybe $10,000 deductible.
Yeah.
So that's what I do, and that's what we all do. We work with our clients and our customers to help find the best options for them. Because we're consultants, we can put together packages that make that work.
Yeah, we never have to say no. If somebody says, hey, do you guys do this? Oh, absolutely, we do. We pass the bill around the table to satisfy our clients. And, when it comes to, hey, CJ, I'm buying a building or I'm leasing a spot, I'm opening a business, right? CJ goes, okay, let's figure out, what your assets are in there. Let's figure out what this scaling system will look like for you. As you grow, you can grow the policy, right? Yep. And then he goes from there and says, okay, who's doing your benefit plans for your employees. So let's get Wally on the phone.
Yeah.
And then what Wally does is he gets a list of people and the list of names. He does all the homework on it. Then he comes back with a couple bids and says, these are your options, but I'm going to let you know that we put a supplemental on top because it's going to benefit your employees. And it's also going to make you like a hero as an employer because it's an extra insurance policy. So it's keeping it cheap for the employer at the same time as stacking. So we're stacking now, and then it's going to benefit the employee if something bad happens, right? Why don't you touch base about that a little bit?
Yeah, and it kind of going off a couple of things Wally said. The first thing is supplemental. Some people call it ancillary benefits. Some people call it gap benefits. I don't know if this is a thing, but back maybe 20 years ago, people used to have secondary insurances. Do you guys remember that? People had a second insurance. Yep. That kind of phased out because of the supplemental, because of this gap.
I'm 34.
Yeah, do you ever
puppy? You're a puppy.
Yeah, he's the young one. He's the young one.
What do you think of that, old wizard?
I was 10.
But Wally kind of talked about, no matter how good your health insurance is, there's copays, there's deductibles. Just for going to the emergency room, you're paying $200-300.
It's nuts.
It's crazy. This stuff kind of helps you pay those expenses. I've seen deductibles that are $5,000-10,000. Crazy, crazy. So either one, their bill has to be over $10,000, or more than likely it's going to be under, so they have to pay that. Who pays that? Mm-hmm. People work hard for their money. They want to use that on vacations. They want to use that on a new car. They don't want to use it for medical bills.
No.
So that's where this ancillary supplemental stuff kind of comes in. I always like to use a good scenario where imagine that you have a machine in your basement, okay? And all this machine does is just pump out money, keeps going every day, keeps going money, right? Right? To the tune of about $50,000 a year, okay? What would you do to protect that machine?
Yeah.
What would you do to make sure that machine keeps running?
Well put.
That machine is you. That machine is you.
Yeah.
And again, say it breaks down. You can use your major medical card. They'll call the repairman.
Yeah.
But what if you can't get in for 2 weeks? What if all of that sudden that machine that's pumping out money is shut down for 2 months? Where does that money come from? Right? This is where that stuff comes in. It pays you money. If all of a sudden you can't be at work due to sickness, all of a sudden you get hurt. And a lot of small business owners, they're wearing multiple hats. They're not only in the office getting bids, they're out in the field. So all of a sudden, if that owner gets hurt, you lose a person, you lose that main contact. Where does that money come in? How do you generate that money? And that's where the supplemental, ancillary, or gap insurance comes in.
That's well
and
put.
people don't even know about that. Like people have no clues things like that even exist.
100%.
Because you tell people that and they're like, "What do you mean? I already have I
already have
insurance." Like I understand you have insurance, but you don't have insurance for the unknown.
100%.
And there's always the unknown lurking, like you're saying.
You'd rather have the stuff and not need it than need it and not have it.
Absolutely.
Right? I got a quick story. You mind if I tell a quick story?
Yeah.
Okay. We had a client out in Wisconsin. I'm from Wisconsin. Still Bears fan.
That's all right.
Out in the farm. We lived in the farm area, and they had all the toys. They had all the snowmobiles, 4-wheelers, and something you might be a little too young for this called a 3-wheeler.
Oh yeah,
remember the 3-wheeler?
Yeah,
right?
Oh yeah, that was dangerous.
This 11-year-old. The rule was you can drive this, but you cannot drive it on the road. These things are known to be like dangerous, right?
Yeah.
Right. So what happens? Being 11, rebellious, goes on the road. Another car comes. He hits the ditch, flips over. Okay, this is bad. He needs to be airlifted to the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota.
Oh jeez.
Okay, if that was your kid, you would stop everything you're doing to be with your kid, right?
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, overnight, eventually the dad went back to work, but they became a one-income family overnight. Dad had to go back because, hey, bills are still coming, right? The kid was in there for about 6 months, came back, he broke his back. They had to redo his house with stuff. One of these policies we have that cost about $5 generated $80,000 for this family.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Is it in extreme circumstances? Well, I wish they would never get that $80,000.
Yes.
But in that time, when all of a sudden that one income was gone, this generated some revenue to keep them afloat.
It supplemented that income.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And again, they had insurance. They had major medical. That covered everything.
Covered, yeah.
Get major medical, by the way. Get major medical,
right?
Right.
But again, there's all those little things that keep adding up that you don't think about that really helps out.
Wow.
100%.
That's a great story.
Well, like I said, if you stack that with the major medical,
100%.
now you've got, because I've had people, a lot of people,
coverage.
Exactly.
they tell me, why should I pay $500 a month with a $10,000 deductible? And, when am I going to use that? How is it going to benefit me? There are ways it does, but to get to the accident point, now you don't, like I said before, the majority of major claims are related to accidents. And so now you go ahead and use that policy because you don't have that deductible when it comes for the accident.
Right.
You go get it taken care of, and everyone's much better off that way.
100%.
Absolutely.
Wow. You know what? It looks like we have one of our viewers has a question for the crew. Let's go ahead and pop that up there. Appreciate there Kent Jones being our producer today. Thank you, Kent. You want to read that off?
Steve?
Right there, highlighted in red.
Okay.
Yeah, you're closer. You got better eyes.
In the quest to level up, how do you help people understand the rising cost of insurance and how not to become insurance poor? Great question. Great question.
You work with somebody physically.
100%.
You cannot be doing this over the web or over
The app.
The app.
Right.
Yeah, you need to have a physical like somebody who represents themselves in a way and has their own ownership of the business to where they want to value you as a client for the long term,
100%.
where they're willing to work with you to adjust things, to say, work with little adjustments with you where you can't do with other big,
And kind of what you're saying too is in that conversation, all these plans, and again, if I'm wrong, are kind of customizable,
100%.
right? So a young couple that just moved from renters to homeowners is a lot different than a retired couple that's kind of planning for their future.
100%.
So talking to us, wanting to start a family. Okay, these are things that we talk about to kind of make sure. And again, one of the questions is, what's your budget? Let's stay within that budget. And talking them through there and explaining it is one of the best to how they not become insurance poor.
Yep.
Oh, 100%.
Because I've seen too.
And
Quickly, right? I've seen clients too that I've actually said, like, listen, you don't need this. Like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, should they pay for this? That doesn't make sense, right? So talking them out of it, talking them through it, explain to them why this might be better is one of those things about consulting, about benefiting education.
Yeah, 100%. And I like to tell people this, if you had like the same ATM type of deal, the same scenario, right? But I use it for if you were giving somebody, all the money that you owned, which is your house. You spend most people don't have the money to actually buy the house. That's why there's mortgages and stuff, right?
Right.
So you spend money you don't have, $200,000, $300,000, right? And then you look to somebody to say, hey, I just bought the most valuable thing I got, man. How cheap can I insure this sucker for?
Right.
And I look at you and I go, hey, man, I cannot allow you to talk like that around me.
Right.
We need to insure this thing because you have 6 months paid on this mortgage. That means you owe $290,000. Let's make sure the insurance value covers the home, covers your personal property, covers your any liability that could happen from the neighbor kids, what have you. That's what we're protecting. That's why you speak to somebody. Maybe you don't need this right now. Maybe you do need this right now. Do you have a finished basis? Maybe you don't need suburb coverage and earthquake coverage and all these crazy things. There hasn't been an earthquake claim in a long time around here. So like things like that, people are not noticing on their policies, either because they're not being diligent enough to read every little line or because they didn't find a professional that read every line for them to tell them and inform them with a verbal communication like, hey, man, this is what you're giving up.
Right.
Like I've had so many clients on this exact thing. Hey, your insurance is too expensive. Blah, 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 blah. I understand, man. Check this out. If you leave now, you're losing this.
Sure.
And halfway through that conversation, they're like, CJ, actually, I want to adjust mine what we got now and stick with the full unlimited replacement cost on the home and replace full replacement cost of my personal property, but I don't have a finished basement, so I don't need suburb coverage. All right, let's take that off. Let's figure out what we got to do.
Right.
And then we save them $200-$300 in the long run. Hey, listen.
Customizing coverage.
Because you talk to me, we now have an understanding of what we're looking to do. If you're on the web like, I'll just get it as cheap as possible. Swipe till that sucker's right where I want it. You just swipe all day, and then when your house burns down, you be swiping to the hotel for 7 months, you know what I mean, a year.
Sure. Well, and I know that, with Wally, your biggest investment is your health, right? insuring your house, super important, folks. Super important. Insuring your vehicles, life insurance, huge, right? For your family, investment life, right? Also for your family, kids go to college, they can borrow against it. And, you know, customizing coverage, Wally's done this for such a long time, and he's built segments, but all your house and everything else, if your health falls to, excuse my French, shit, and you're in the hospital and your major medical and let's just say the coverage that we give you on actionable, whatever's kicking in, right? And then after that, and the surgeries keep coming or the treatment keeps coming, the house doesn't matter because you're going to have to sell it.
Well, your machine breaks down.
Right, your machine breaks down. The machine is
Broken.
Right.
Done.
So why don't you tap into that a little bit? Why is it so important on how to customize what's going to work for you and how you can level up from that?
Well, the very first thing that comes to mind when you talk about that is you really need major medical insurance in the ACA. And why is that? The biggest reason, number one, is preventative insurance, preventative health. Because we know that science keeps advancing and more people are recovering from major illnesses, from cancer. They're surviving cancer, strokes, and heart attacks. But what do doctors and medical professionals tell you? The key to a lot of that is early detection. So if you have that major medical, you go get a physical for free. You get all your testing done for free. So finding these things out early gives you the best opportunity to protect yourself and protect that money-making machine and your family.
Oh,
yeah.
You know, and from there, then it is protecting yourself against the accidents. Like I said, I mean, I think it's 83% of most claims are less than the $10,000 that people see in deductibles. So when you can reduce that risk from an accident, which is where you might file that large claim, that's also helping you survive, you know, in business and health wise.
Wow. Yeah. Great answer. And I know that in our producer today, Kent Jones, Kent is in the lending space. And you know, when people don't, it's perception. Number one, perception is key here. Everybody's like, oh, insurance, right? Instead of being like, oh, insurance. That's usually right.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, there's people who say, you know, my insurance guy screwed me. And there's people who say, man, I work with the best insurance guy. There's like those type of people.
And then they don't realize they're getting screwed from him until
they don't realize that
it.
they screwed themselves either by not looking for a better solution to their insurance problem. They thought their solution was to switch insurance providers and cancel. Like, I got to get rid of this guy off my back. I don't want to call him and talk to him. Get him off my back.
Right.
Oh, that's the exact opposite of what you want to do.
Sure.
You need to sit down with that guy. Be like, hey, listen, I've been working with you for 5 years. I've noticed some things in the policy. I've gone up 30%, which is, you know, everybody's going up 18, 20% in Illinois. So you ain't running from that, like, no matter what you do.
Sure.
So that's happening through every insurance company. And things like that are just where people are juggling the idea. You need somebody like us. You need to have a face. You need to go and sit down in an office, have an assistant who you can also communicate with, you're not always begging for, you know, attention. You're not a policy number. You're a name.
What about the fact of this, right? Listen, folks, cappuccino away here. I got a guy.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So here's the thing.
I love that.
If your guy doesn't call you and say, I ran some analytics against your insurance, there's new stuff out there, I want to sit down and talk about cost savings with better insurance, it's time to find a new guy.
Yeah, at least every 24 months.
Sure.
Correct.
I do home and auto reviews every year.
Yep.
Just to make sure people are like, hey, did you buy a Mercedes? Did you buy a Bentley? Hey,
Right.
you know, or
If
did you lose a Bentley
Right.
or lose a Mercedes?
If your guy doesn't reach out to you based on your supplemental and say, hey, listen, we have some new products. I know that you're paying for this, and that's going to come to term at this point, right? Or your life insurance or your medical insurance. We are those guys.
Yeah.
And so not everybody is that guy. We're old school with a new generational twist.
Oh,
Do you know how much the world changes in 24 months and how people change in 24 months?
So talk about perception now. We're going back to perception here, right? the same people that complain about a slight increase on their insurance go pay $7 or $8 for a cup of coffee at Starbucks.
Oh, it's horrible.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right,
So
priorities.
And so the perception is it getting back to Ken's a lender, right? Ken's awesome. He reaches out to people. He is a relationship builder. And so the very first thing when he's talking to people about buying a home is, hey, let's get pre-approved. And then let's talk to some insurance people about what your final cost is going to be between getting your insurance done and everything else. People don't think about that when they're buying. I just want a house. I want bigger closets. I want this. I want that. But hey, we need to also see what your end game is going to look like on your own personal cost analysis, right? And so when you have people doing that, listen, I say it before I say it again, I'll put two numbers together and get a color. I'm horrible at that. I have people like you that do that, right?
Yeah.
So we utilize our strengths to go and help people as much as possible. If we don't get the deal, no harm, no foul. We high five, we walk away, but we're still in your corner if you need us.
Well,
That's what we do.
Sometimes it just doesn't make sense. Sometimes it just doesn't work out.
Correct.
Let's take
Correct.
that another step too.
Yeah.
We're not talking about just shopping around for the best price or the best plan or the newest benefits. I tell my people, well, first of all, who among us likes calling 800 numbers and going through customer service departments and all those phone trees? Nobody. So I tell you, have my number, you have my personal number.
Yep.
You have a claim, you have a question about your policy, you need help with your health insurance or whatever it might be, call me first.
Yeah.
I may have the answer, I may not have the answer, but I'll be able to direct you, or I may be able to just, with my expertise, conference you in on a call with the insurance company and work with them because I know what to say, I know how to say it, I know what to look for in your claim and what the problem is and the issue is.
I love that because it seems like there's a lot of people out there that are, the more they can confuse you, the better for them, right?
Yep.
I love the fact that you're like, send it to me, I'll read it and let you know what my thoughts are. And that's usually the honest thought. That's what you're awesome at that. I love that. Especially if they don't know the lingo. It's like talking to somebody about computers when they don't know about computers and what they need. New flux
Well,
capacitor.
speaking about technology, look at the question.
Oh, we got another one.
I think we should answer this. This is
Yep.
a great one.
Let me read it.
Yep.
I love that you were speaking about relationships. But in the world of online shopping, food delivery, how do you suggest building a relationship for the 20 to 33-year-old that doesn't want to?
Easy.
Good question.
That's super easy. So most transactions can be done on Zoom, on phone calls, interactions like that. So saying that, like, I want to, communicate via email, via this, okay, that's easy. But I recommend we have at least one Zoom call, because you're 23, you're 30, whatever, the age bracket is there now.
Your age.
Now, right? But when you're 40, you're going to want a dog like me on your side, I promise. And you're going to want somebody who worked with you over the years, who forced you into these awkward conversations. Hey, man, you're 33 years old now. You have a pregnant wife. You're thinking about life insurance, where you can go online and ain't nobody going to tell you how to protect that family's future, that financial future.
Sure.
That's why we step up. That's why we're professionals. That's why we took the time to read the books and do the informational studies and all that great stuff so that you can lend, a little bit of relief that we are looking out for you when it comes to those age gap transitions.
Sure.
Those, 20 to 35, that 35 to 50, that 55 to 60, that retirement after.
That's right.
That's why you build this. So, hey, listen, I know retirement's coming up soon, John. We're 20, right? This comment here, you're 23 now. We've worked together for 33 years now. You're into retirement. Have you planned? I'm talking, we're doing this at 60 because I've already put it in my notes for you.
Sure.
I'm already planning for you if you haven't planned for yourself.
Sure.
Right.
That's why you step up to the plate and work with somebody like us.
Which is awesome too, because, and that's going to be on our next part here, the kung fu that my man Wally knows is that, hey, at around a certain age, let's talk about investment. Let's talk about annuity fund. What when the job stops happening, or as Coach Kent would say, the ball stops bouncing, what's next? How are you going to continue the lifestyle that you have? What are your thoughts to that, Walt?
Well, retirement income is something that people just don't focus on enough.
Yeah.
I mean, and you're building, hopefully you're contributing to maybe your company's 401k or your own IRA, and you are working towards that. But now we get, 55, 60, we're starting to get older and saying, you know what? I don't know that I want the kind of risk that I have right now. I want to make sure I can maintain my fund, because we know how volatile the marketplace can be. And that's when I start talking to people about fixed indexed annuities, because I don't know of any other retirement vehicle or that will allow you to protect your principal, protect that fund from ever having to lose money again in the marketplace. But at the same time, you can participate in the marketplace when it grows, and you can grow your money, but you don't have to worry about marketplace drops. It's guaranteed. You don't lose that.
You can only gain.
You can only gain money with those annuities. And there's many other benefits along the line with annuities. Not only the guarantee of the premium, or the principal, I should say, of your money, your fund, but also you can develop a guaranteed income for yourself.
Yeah.
Where
it's your next paycheck. Right.
Right. Well,
It's your secured paycheck.
Correct.
As a rule of thumb, for every $100,000 of a retirement fund that you have in an annuity, you can realize $8,000 to $9,000 a year in guaranteed income. So if you've got $500,000 and you've got a lot of things now paid off, your home paid off, cars, you don't have kids, you're not paying for college, you're getting into your 60s now. You get to be 65, maybe you start bringing in Social Security income, and you've got another 50, 60, 70,000 guaranteed for life.
Yeah.
It's a pretty comfortable position to be in. And those are the type of buckets, that retirement buckets, so to speak, that I can work with on your money to help you, feel secure and safe in retirement.
So what is the recommended age where people should start thinking about this?
Oh, I think you should really start thinking about it in your 40s easily. I mean, as far as annuities are concerned,
kids.
yeah, you want to start
The second you have kids,
you want to start putting money into a retirement fund as soon as you get out of school and start working. I mean, you definitely want to start doing that. Obviously, everyone knows compound interest.
Yeah,
I think
let's
first
face
thing everybody in the world and everybody on the planet should know, you need to start with a Roth immediately. Like, that is your go-to place to put money if you're starting out at a young age. Start investing in your Roth.
Investing in your
maximize it if
Roth,
you can.
get a really decent money market account. Look at some CD processes for the kids.
That doesn't help us any. Right. Telling people that, but investing in a Roth is key.
Yeah.
So quick question, kind of following up back on this question.
Yeah.
How many 20 to 26-year-olds that you actually guys work with? Because in my experience is, again, going back to that thing, these young kids, hey, we're all young ones, right?
Speak for yourself. I'm always young.
But they never, they never think anything can happen to them, right?
Yeah.
Two, some of these kids still live at home, so they're not worried about rent. They're not worried about this stuff. They get things paid for them. So it's when I'm dealing with the 20 to 33-year-olds, I say 20 to 26, again, going back to the education, my job is just to make sure they know, coming from an older individual, I can go through some situations, explain some things that are happening to them. One of the things, building relationships, I kind of still come from that old school. It was weird when I got the green light to start texting people, potential clients. Before it was like, don't text them, call them on the phone.
Warm and fuzzy phone.
Now it's like, that's the only thing you should do. Don't call people. With all the spam phone calls we get, texting, people are more likely to look or respond to a text than a phone call.
Yeah.
So that's how kind of building the relationship, kind of sneak into their technology world, Instagram, Facebook, that's the way to get to these guys. That's how they're going to trust you. That's how it builds that relationship, right?
Which is crazy ironic that you trust,
you trust the internet, slide into whatever.
Well, that's where the world is today.
Right?
Yeah.
No matter what.
I have helped a lot of young people, though, with health insurance. And it's not always with those people that I recommend a major medical plan. Depends on their personal finance situation, what they can afford. But they know they need coverage and they want health insurance. So I'm able to usually work with them on maybe a fixed benefit indemnity plan or add in an accident plan to give them the coverage that they need, because they're very young. Obviously, we're talking about young people, sorry. But they're not they're not, again, more than likely not going to have that heart attack or stroke
Right.
or
100%.
things like that. But an accident, again, is going to be where they may file a large claim. So if they have an indemnity plan, that's going to pay them an amount for seeing the doctor, going to the hospital and having a surgery. And if it's from an accident, get an extra bonus amount of money that can help pay for that at a relatively low cost. It's very affordable for them.
Well put. And so let's just say, and we'll tackle on to injury a little bit. Then we're going to move on to, not only onto the investment side when you have kids, what a life insurance plan looks like for kids, where they can borrow against it. But we're going to real quick tap into a little bit on the supplemental side with anything and everything. What happens when you get hurt at work, right?
Sure.
And you don't realize you're hurt at work, you don't have a plan for
Workers' comp.
disability, right? So we supply a disability plan that sits on top. And listen, now you're sitting at home, you're healing, you're not worrying because money's coming in.
Right.
You know, these are the things people don't think of. And are we the Grim Reapers for bringing it to light? Maybe.
Sure.
But we're also the bullet in the gun. You would rather have that bullet for your gun than not. When you need it, you have it, right?
And I don't know if you guys heard, but bill collectors don't care.
No.
They want their money. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, you're out of work. Pay me my money.
Oh, you're dying?
Oh, you're
Where's
dying?
my money?
Pay me my
Right, right.
Very, I mean, that's their business, but
Right.
the bills keep coming regardless if you're working or not.
Yep. And real quick, folks, once again, if this is a conversation that you'd like to have with any of these gentlemen, info@godccs.com. That's info@godccs.com. We do have it trickling on the bottom there. Or check out our website, godccs.com. We do anything from real estate to insurance, technology, human resource, talent management, and academy. So coming back to it, Wally, you know, people don't realize that, and listen, folks, this isn't saying take a life policy on your kids and then tell them to stand at the top of the stairs. That's not what we're saying, right? How important is it, and what is the benefit of doing something like that? What is the benefit for the kid and as well as for the
You
parent?
know, I'll let CJ, I'm sorry, take that one. If you know about life insurance and IULs, I mean, I think
Okay.
Well, so the benefit of all my kids have IULs. I bought them pretty much year one. As soon as they turned 1 year old, I bought them life policies, and I bought them index universal life policies.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just an index account that plays with the S&P 500. So you're in the stock market per se, right? You're not really earning like the stock market earns, but you also have no sides for, loss. There's a zero cap.
Correct.
So you cannot go down. They cut your spending off at zero. We're not invested anymore, but we're also not gaining anything. Sorry.
What was the highest you've seen it ever be? Because it runs variable.
8%.
8%?
So, yeah. We've seen 8%. There's higher. There's some that,
I think you told me once that you've seen it go as high as 12.
12, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, in conservative numbers, 8% is where generally everybody's falling with their index annuities. And what I did there was I set it up for a 30-year term pay. So I'm going to pay for 30 years, and it's going to accumulate. I'll just tell you the exact numbers. I pay $1,200 a year for each policy, $100 a month. And by the time they accrue the interest and all this, they'll have like something like $62,000 at age 20 or at age 30. So at age 30, and I figured that would be a little bit after college. So they may have college loans, and it may be a little bit before their wedding. So they may want money for that. And me and my wife, kind of discussed it could either be that, or it could also be to set them free to open up a business,
Sure.
Because that's a considerable amount of sum.
Yeah.
And now what's cool about the index universal life is when you take that, money out, it's still earning at $60,000, all while still providing the life benefit. And you only pay a 0.5% loan on it. So $60,000, you pay $60 on it to loan yourself $60,000.
Brilliant.
So, and now you pay off all your debts. The kid can be debt free going into the most crucial years of his life, finding a job, finding a wife, building a family. And that's when you set them up for it. Because now think about when you came out running after college. Slow down, man. You got nowhere to go.
Sure.
You're going to give them that extra 5 steps above everybody else. And in this world, I'm not saying money's king and money, but God, does it help when it comes to looking for a house or having
100%.
a down payment or
100%.
being able to afford a kid in a nice apartment and having a nice vehicle to transport your newborn kid in.
Yep.
Things like that matter, and they change how you feel physically, mentally, it just
Mindset.
it sets
mindset.
you up for
Right.
success, and it
Right.
sets your kids up for success, and it costs me nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It costs me nothing. I won't go out to dinner for one night. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I can I can say that is like the payment. But
And folks, feel free to go ahead and chat in if you have any question. Good morning, Ted. Good to see you.
Can I touch base on 2 life insurance things?
Yeah, please.
Okay. One, talking about what Wally said. Life insurance for young kids. It is way, way less expensive when you get it younger compared to older.
yeah,
Like night and day. Like a 20-year-old $100,000 policy compared to a 40-year-old $100,000, night and day, right? And 2, I'm going to go morbid here. Sorry.
Do it.
It costs a lot of money to bury you in this day.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
you're morbid.
12
I'm just
grand.
kidding.
12, I've seen 20. So all of a sudden with this life insurance is someone you care about, someone special passes away. You're devastated. Now you got to pay for a funeral. Now their income is gone, whatever bills and whatever they have. So that life insurance, again, we never get it for ourselves. We get it for our family.
Correct.
You know,
it's the most selfish gift you can give.
100% just to cover those little costs that you don't want to worry about that helps in a grieving time. So that's 2 things I want to add with life insurance.
No, well
No,
put.
that's key.
And don't
Age
forget
is
that
key.
there is a death benefit out there that also you get towards that. And I think through social security or
Yeah,
something
you
to
do
that effect,
receive.
right?
Yeah.
And
but it's not much.
It's not much.
No,
It's
no.
maybe $2,500.
kind of going over all the theme is be careful what you pay for. You see these commercials out there that say you're covered, you get this, $8.99. It's not
Oh,
$8.99.
yeah.
I'm telling you right now, people.
And it's not $500,000 in coverage for
Right.
$8.99.
So just be
If
careful
it
what you
looks
see on
cheap,
TV.
yeah, if it's too good to be true, if it
100%.
sounds it, if
Yeah.
it looks cheap and you get a free picture frame with it, you
Right.
should probably not do it. Find a new guy.
Yeah.
Well, you can only
Right.
use it on the 3rd month of the 6th year. So there's
Yeah.
some crazy loophole.
Full moon.
Full moon.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Right.
I'm kind of partial to that canvas handbag, the
Well,
tote bag.
I'll make sure I buy you one. Please don't go that route.
Thank you.
So one of the things too that we want to think of. So now listen, we talked about a lot of there's no time to talk about a lot of things. This could be a 5-hour conversation.
Yeah,
Nobody wants to listen to insurance about for 5 hours.
I'm blown
Maybe
away.
we-
We're 47 minutes in. It feels like we just started
Oh,
talking.
I know, man. This
Honestly,
is
this
a great
doesn't-
time.
When you said 30 minutes, I'm like, we're never getting through 30 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no, it goes
we can
beyond.
go
That's
way
crazy.
beyond.
Yeah, you have to shut up after a while.
So we talked about
Kent's the only one.
how to
quiet.
cost analysis for your house. We talked about home, all the way to when you have kids, what you could do for your kids, what you could do for your family, going up, talking about your investment for the future. Now let's fast forward a little bit, right? Wally, what age are we looking at towards saying, hey, we need to reach out to Wally and talk about our Medicare?
Well, Medicare?
Yeah.
Well, like 6 months before you turn 65 is kind of the minimal time when you want to talk about Medicare, of course. 6 months before you're 65 up to 6 months after you're 65 is your initial enrollment period. So all Medicare insurance is available to you at that point. There's 2 different, well, actually 3, I guess, different basic opportunities. You can just stick with original Medicare, which basically pays for everything.
Is that A, B, and is there a C?
Right.
Oh, I didn't
Right,
know that.
A and
Okay.
B, right.
Oh, A, B. Okay.
Part A and Part B. The doctor and medical and the hospitalization is Part A. Doctor and medical is Part B. But it doesn't. But you want something to cover. There's a 20% risk that you have, exposure that you have. So anything you want to make sure you cover that 20% risk that's involved there, and you can do that by either through a Medicare supplement or a Medigap policy people talk about, or an Advantage plan. Now, one other side to that a lot of people may not at times realize, especially there's a lot of very healthy people at age 65, is the Part D or the prescription drug plan. And once you turn 65, you need to get Part D, even if you don't take prescriptions, because without it, the government, once you start taking prescriptions and you need it, they'll start penalizing you. And it's 1%,
Really?
1% of the monthly cost of the average Part D plan over the length of time that you didn't have it. So, for instance, I had somebody who was 72 years old and didn't get it. And so a plan with Part D, which is very cheap, there's one this year that
Like
came out that was,
$20.
well, the one this year was $0.
Oh God.
And they're usually
Yeah.
easily you can find them around $9 or $10
Yeah.
a month. That plan now costs him $42 a month for the rest of his life. That penalty doesn't go away.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot,
keeps it current,
$42,
too, yeah.
but
Keeps adding up.
everything adds up. So a lot of people don't realize that. But without getting into too many more details, unless you want me to at this point, but that's the time frame when you need to talk
Sure.
to somebody
Yep.
about it.
Or you're
And what I do,
penalized.
and then
Either
I,
you're penalized.
Yeah, you're
right.
keep
Well,
getting
with
penalized.
with the Part D, but I mean, and I go through in very detail about Medigap plans and the Advantage plans and the differences between the two and their costs and what makes most sense for you at that time.
Well, for anybody out there that's getting around to be that time, feel free to reach out to Wally, info@godccs.com,
Absolutely.
info@godccs.com. Well, we covered a lot of stuff today. Is anybody else? Feel free to chat in, guys. This is a once a month show. Stay tuned till next month. We will be talking about technology. And how to level up through technology as well. And this is going to be an ongoing thing, how to level up through community, how to leveling up through building relationships and networking. Lots of great stuff here with the crew from the insurance team at GoDCCS.com. Feel free to join us next time.
And speaking of free, that consultation phone call or email or whatever is free.
Oh, I love it. With everybody here,
Everything.
There's no
it
charge.
doesn't cost you a dime to have a conversation.
That's right.
No.
It does not cost a dime to have it. And if you feel that it's not for you, that's okay too.
Absolutely.
But know this, if you end up coming back, we're still in your corner.
Because you want
That's
to
how
make
we
sure
do it.
you're on the
Yep.
right plan at the right cost and just get some, good feeling about that. Give us a call, email us, no charge.
Awesome.
Are we superheroes? That's for you guys to say. Right?
Well, I know CJ thinks he is.
Yeah, I
but,
for sure am.
I made him take off his cape before he
Come
walked in
on.
the room.
I flew here.
Listen, everybody, I am Drew Cappuccino, sitting on a 21.6 Creator Studio platform. Feel free to check out some of the other shows here. Go to the YouTube. Please like, share, subscribe. Click on our live tab. See some of the other shows that we have as well. It's fantastic. Thanks to DCCS for putting the show together, The Art of Leveling Up. Until next time, folks, enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Listen up, I ain't playing around. I shed blood, sweat, and tears, and I made my rounds. I'm bad as who? There's no stopping me. Get out of my way, I'm like a runaway train flying at a supersonic speed. I got what you want, I got it. I got what you need, I got it. Welcome to the show. Get ready for the major leagues, alright. All my life I said I'm gonna be one of the greats. Now I'm finally here.